Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today.
You ain't really about it if you ain't prepared to die. Talking about loyalty, but you ain't ready to ride. Get your mind right, he coming like a thief in the night. Is you ready? Is you ready? You ain't really about it if you ain't prepared to die. Talking about loyalty, but you ain't ready to ride. Get your mind right, he coming like a thief in the night. Is you ready? Is you ready? Laughing at your idol God, looking like some Digimon. Babylon won't carry on, this dragon getting mini bombs. You can call me Daniel, son, you know I serve the living God. Yours is made of...
For title purposes, you can write down, he lives by the sword. He lives by the sword. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go through the scriptures and look at the relationship between Jacob and Esau and explore some of the more diabolical things that he's done to our people. We more than likely probably won't be here that long tonight. But we're gonna try to make it work. You know what I'm saying? Brothers, if y'all got to register for something, you got 4 sisters back there who 9 times out of 10, none of their computers work. They just back there just to be holding up the wall. Raise your hand if your computer work. You see? So they just back there right now. I don't even know why officer that you might have them here.
4 people, 1 computer that halfway work.
Yeah.
They all gonna share one DSL hookup.
Exactly. They got a different
They got landline.
they got a different IP address they got to get on, and it don't work. Most on let me see. Yeah, no, their computer's not working. Not gonna work. So you over there, Officer Heeman? Thank you.
Yes, sir.
So we're going to start off in the book of Genesis. We're going to go to the beginning, and we're going to let me make sure. Okay. Before we begin, though, I usually like to try to ask, does anybody have any questions? I know I didn't really get a chance to finish what we were talking about on Tuesday, but we got kind of to the end of it. I didn't really want to bring it back up and go through it. But how many of y'all learned something on Tuesday? How about that? How about we review real quick? Tell me what y'all learned on Tuesday. What we get? Artists? Okay, I'll praise, brother. Artists.
That having too much dopamine and too little both have different side effects. I thought it was more of just
Put the mic a little close to your mouth.
I thought just having too much would have a side effect. I didn't know not having enough will also have detrimental.
Oh yeah, that was crazy. Too little dopamine make you want to sleep with a dude, bro. I was like,
Oh, you watched that?
this guy.
Yeah. And what they were doing was so the Drosophila were flies that they were testing on. You know, Esau always got to test on the animals first. But the lower dopamine levels, yeah, it has adverse effects on the body chemically. And so I guess essentially what we're going to do is we're not going to go down that same path, but we're going to kind of still talk about Esau and what they do. Just like the scriptures, real quick. Let's go to Jeremiah 49:10.
Gotta know
This is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do tonight, or at least attempt to.
Jeremiah chapter 49 and verse 10.
Oh, let me get there. Make sure that's 10. Yeah, verse 10.
Yes, sir. But I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places.
Read.
And he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren, and his neighbors, and he is not.
So when it says, I have uncovered his secret places, he shall not be able to hide himself. Like the scriptures say in Revelations, what is it, Revelations or is it Thessalonians? That his sin has to be revealed. Thessalonians. His sin has to be revealed. And so that's what you see. Like, because think about how long Esau has been doing what they've been doing to our people, right? And we've known about it, but it's like now in today's media, right? You got the news, and every time you turn on the TV, somebody else is being killed by the police. Like here just recently, you had a old white woman. She's finally been arrested but she got into an argument with her black neighbor. I forgot what they got into an argument about. But the white woman, what was it? A young kid's tablet, and the white one, she shoots through the door. So the hatred that Esau has for us, we're gonna get ready to explore it in Genesis, but it stems all the way back from that time. And like Esau, it's with now having everybody has cell phones and we got social media and the news coverage, we're starting to collectively see what Esau really is and what he's doing and what he's about. It's not just, okay, well, it's just some of them is okay. It's media is making it known that Esau is the devil. He is the wicked on this earth. So we're going to start off in Genesis chapter 27. And we're going to start, let's see where we want to start at. Let's do a little bit of reading. Start at verse number 30.
Genesis chapter 27, verse 30. And it came to pass, as soon as Isaac had made an end of blessing Jacob, and Jacob was yet scarce gone out from the presence of Isaac his father, that Esau his brother came in from his hunting. And he also had made savory meat, and brought it unto his father, and said unto his father, Let my father arise, and eat of his son's venison, that thy soul may bless me. And Isaac his father said unto him, Who art thou? And he said, I am thy son, thy firstborn Esau. And Isaac trembled very exceedingly.
So do y'all remember, I think when we were in the book of Numbers, how scripturally the first son is supposed to get the blessing, right? Who remembers what happened and why Esau didn't get the blessing first? Who remembers? Brother Zechariah, what you got? You got a mouthful of sandwich. Let's see if you can do this.
Shalom. So Jacob's mom, Rebecca.
Can you turn his mic up a little bit, please?
So Rebecca, Jacob's mom, told him to kill some meat, make it for her father, and so that he get the blessing. And he pretty much.
Wait, say it again. Explain it like you're explaining it to a 6-year-old.
Okay. So, number one, Esau gave up his birthright to Jacob for some lentil soup because he was famished. Fast forward to when Isaac became old, Rebecca told Jacob to prepare a meal for the father, and like his favorite meal, prepare the favorite meal, and give it to the father, and he's going to give him the blessing of the firstborn. So he prepares it. He goes in to give to the father, and then that's when Isaac gave him the blessing, because he thought it was Esau, his firstborn son.
That was kind of spotty.
It was.
All
I was
right.
trying to follow you, but
She said it was spotty. All right.
What I missed?
You touched the points, but it was just spotty. But nevertheless, all right. I wanna ask a question. So Esau, you said Esau did what with the venison now?
He
with the red pottage.
Yes, he exchanged the red pottage for his birthright.
Okay. What commandment comes to mind when you think of that? When you see what Esau did right there? Is there any commandments or any? Don't nothing come to mind when you think of?
I could.
Let me make it clear. As pertaining to why Esau wasn't able to retain or receive the blessing that he should have received, pertaining to that red pottage.
Only thing I could think of, I want to say he coveted the red pottage.
Okay, that's one. We just thinking. I guess we want to say in depth. to some of the simpler things that, because we're talking about Esau, right? And that's a good identifier of him, right? You know what I'm saying? Is he covetous?
Yeah, because the first thing he said was that what the birthright profit me.
Ah, see, now your brain's starting to move. Okay,
yes,
it just take a little digging and poking around in there. So you said covetous. What you got, artist? I seen your hand come up for a quick little second.
I think I was off actually. I thought you was talking about the prophecy when it said the older shall serve the younger.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it did say that, but I'm thinking of like just say like, remember this is a basics class, so it's not nothing real deep. It's just when we looking at scriptures and we thinking of how to explain it to our people or understanding what was really happening is what I'm trying to get you to think basically. You look at this guy and he goes, I really like that red soup you got. And you like, bread ain't done. You go, yeah, but I want it anyway. So we deal with the covetousness part, right? Then he goes, well, then sell it to me. Sell me your birthright then and I'll give it to you. That's what happened next, right?
Mm-hmm.
He said, sell me your, Jacob told him, say, sell me your birthright. And he said, what, Zachariah? I'm sorry.
He said, what does it profit me? I'm hungry right now. What is that birthright going to do for me?
So, matter of fact, go to it, officer. Go back one chapter and let's see.
You want me to start?
When he said, give me some of that red pottage.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
25.
Genesis chapter 25, verse 29. And Jacob sowed pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. And Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die. And what profit shall this birthright do to me? And Jacob said, swear it to me this day. And he sware unto him. And he sold his birthright unto Jacob.
I just read the commandment. We just read the commandment. What did he break? What he broke? I know you be on that deep stuff, but I need to know if you're on the basis. What's up? What he broke?
I have no idea.
Give me Numbers 30. Start at verse 2.
Numbers chapter 30, verse 2. If a man vow a vow,
what did he do?
Vow a vow.
Did Esau vow a vow? He vowed a vow. Read.
Unto the Lord. Or swear an oath. To bind his soul with a bond.
So this is what he did. He made he said, well, swear to me. He said, it's yours, I swear. And he sold his birthright. So the officer asked, why wouldn't Esau able to take the birthright rightfully? He vowed a vow already. He made a covenant. He swore that it was Jacob's. You understand? But what the officer is showing y'all, this is the kind of man that we dealing with. We dealing with a man that breaks covenants. Off top, that's what he did. He came in on some covetousness. Oh, I really want that red soup. Soup ain't done. I don't care. I'm about to die. Give it to me anyway. Sell me your birthright. Nigga, I don't care nothing about no birthright. I'm hungry. All right, then swear to me. Man, I don't give a damn about that. Let me get that soup. Swear. Man, I swear, cuz you can have the birthright. I don't care. There go your soup, G. So now, what's the next thing Esau did? What did he do after all of that? What was the next thing? Now, I want another hand. Silas, what happened?
He attempted to get the birthright anyway.
What we call that?
Lying, stealing, cheating.
Lying. So covetous, truce breaker, liar, stealer. Did this not attribute this man that we know as the so-called white man today? This is like this nigga game playing. Like, this how he roll. He come in, oh, I'm so hungry. I'm a pilgrim. I'm famished. Please feed me, Mr. Indian. Okay, how? You look him hungry. We help him you. We gonna be friends. Okay, you stay him there. We stay him here. Oh, no problem. Steal him, come through, robbing, killing, raping, pillaging.
And we're going to go into a lot more detail about that.
This is the MO. This is the what they say, the motive operandi. This is how he operates. This is the kind of man you're dealing with. And this is why we saying be basic about what you're reading. Sometimes, we can get caught up in the prophecies and some of that deep stuff or that mysteries. You be like, wow, that's amazing. Can I precept that with this? But how about look at what you're reading? Look at the words that the Most High put in front of you so that you can see the simple things of the scriptures. The simple things, the simple little things that identify who we dealing with. All right, you good? All right.
Sister Nevada class is called He Lives by the Sword. He lives by the sword. So now, with what Oscar Carmel I just mentioned, real quick, let's jump to Ecclesiastes chapter 5. Read verse number 4 and 5. We read this before when we were going through Numbers chapter 30, but let's deal with it again.
Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 4. When thou vowest a vow unto God, defer not to pay it, for he hath no pleasure in fools.
Read. Wait. So when you vow a vow and you don't keep it, you're foolish in God's eyes. Keep reading.
Pay that which thou hast vowed.
Read.
Better is it that thou shouldest not vow than that thou shouldest vow and not pay.
And so now we see contention already, because as Officer was mentioning, Esau done made this vow and he gave up his birthright. He gave it up. But then now you see the lying aspect of Esau. And so now let's go back to Genesis 27. Now keep in mind, he gave it away, or he sold it rather, right? Now go to verse 34.
Yes, sir. Genesis chapter 27, verse 34.
Yep.
And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry, and said unto his father, bless me, even to me also, O my father.
Read.
And he said, thy brother came with subtlety, and have taken away thy blessing.
So he's like, your brother came and he was very subtle about it, and he's taken it away. Read.
And he said, is not he rightly named Jacob? For he have supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright.
Wait, so did Jacob take it away? So he's lying now. He's lying. Because he realized, okay, wait, after it's actually over, like, wait a minute, hold on, because look at what the blessing that he received. And in great Esau fashion, when they don't get their way, what do? They start acting crazy. They start crying. Y'all see Esau when they be on them videos. They get mad and they start to shout, or I'm gonna call the police, or you're messing up my rights, and blah 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 blah. That's what Esau do. Keep reading. We're gonna see this in Esau. Read.
And behold, now he have taken away my blessing.
And when it says he supplanted me these 2 times, he's talking about when he gave away his birthright, and then now when Jacob received the blessing. But it was rightfully so. And then here's the thing about it. If God didn't want this to happen, because we read, let's see. Real quick. Jump 1 chapter over, chapter 28, and read verse number 12.
Genesis chapter 28, verse 12. And he dreamed, and behold, a ladder set up on the earth.
Now, what we're reading is, this is after all of this has happened, after Jacob's gotten the blessing, right? Read.
And the top of it reached to heaven. And behold, the angels of God ascending and descending on it.
Read.
And behold, the Lord stood above it.
So Jacob's having his vision, and he sees the Lord standing above it. Read.
And said, I am the Lord God of Abraham, thy father, and the God of Isaac. the land whereon thou liest, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed.
Read.
And thy seed shall be as the dust of the earth, and thou shalt spread abroad to the west, and to the east, and to the north, and to the south. And in thee and in thy seed shall all the families of the earth be blessed.
So if what Jacob did was so wrong and he was so subtle, then why is God praising Jacob right now and saying that I'm going to bless your seed? Because clearly God was in agreement with it. Jacob didn't do anything wrong. And we see, where is it at? Oh, yeah, go back to verse number 34 in Genesis 27.
Yes, sir. Genesis chapter 27, verse 34. And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry, and said unto his father, bless me, even me also, O my father. And he said, thy brother came with subtlety, and have taken away thy blessing. And he said,
the point I wanted to get to, it says, and with a great and exceeding bitter cry, just like in great Esau fashion. And then I see your comment also in there. It says, the crazy part is that Jacob didn't say he couldn't get the soup, which he didn't, but he just had to wait until it was finished. But we know it was spiritual, so he didn't have to sell the birthright if he had just been patient. But Esau ain't patient like that. Esau it mentions in Obadiah, he's the great gatherers, how he takes everything. Esau has no patience. He wants what he wants, when he want it, how he want it. He'll take it by force.
You say he wouldn't he left some grapes?
None.
Hey, I just sent Officer Ira something. I want to show y'all Esau. This exact same thing. We're going to read this headline of this right here. Go back. We're going to read the headline. We're going to watch the video.
I think. This is Esau right here. Yes. Before he read verse 34 one more time.
Verse 34. And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry.
All right, now watch this.
Watch this. Read that, officer.
Put it on the screen.
Yes, sir. NYC hospital employee seen in viral video appearing to take bike from young black men has receipts showing she rented it, lawyer says.
All right. Now, this is, that's the video on there. Yeah. So she gonna go through, okay, just play it. We'll commentate afterwards.
A tussle over a city bike gone viral. The 90-second clip shows a hospital worker, Sarah Comrie, straddling a two-wheeler. A man next to her claiming it's his.
It's not your bike. Please help me.
This footage led the woman's employer, New York City Health and Hospitals, to put the woman on leave as it conducts an investigation. Now her attorney told us she's getting bombarded with threats.
Every part of that story is incorrect. Starting with, my client is not a racist. 2, my client did not take anybody else's bike.
Justin Marino says the proof is in the receipts that we examined. They show a rental for a bike of 560-3915 that lasted 1 minute. We froze the video to get a good look. The code on the bike that they both want reads 560-3915. We asked City Bike to confirm her rental and if anyone else reserved it around that time. Marino says that's impossible.
That confirms that the bike she was on was definitively rented by her.
We don't know for sure what happened before this video started. Marino says on Saturday, Comrie wrapped up a 12-hour shift at Bellevue, walked up to that rack, paid, and then pulled the bike back. He says that's when the men approached. About 30 seconds
you can stop it. It's not the one.
6-month pregnant
this
woman
one where
says
she acting a plumb fool. A plumb fool. All right, while you find it, jump down to verse number 39. Or verse 37.
Verse 37. And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, behold, I have made him thy Lord, and all his brethren have I given to him.
So Jacob has been made the Lord of Esau. Read.
Have I given to him for servants, and with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son? And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept.
And he go crying again, read.
And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling place shall be the fatness of the earth.
So all of the best places, that's where you're going to live. Read.
and of the dew of heaven from above.
And that's the point right there. So when you think about it, when you wake up in the morning and you see just the dew that's on the grass, it's all over the place. It's everywhere. So God is saying that that's what Esau is going to inherit. He's going to dwell in the fatness of the earth. That's why there's not a nice place. How many of you ever heard of Christmas Island? Okay, so I guess I'm the only one again. Okay. Pull it up on the map. Put it up on the map. When I tell you it is literally in the middle of nowhere in the most remote place on earth, but it's probably one of the most beautiful places on this earth. Go to, as a matter of fact, do this. Go to maps. Go to maps. Put it on the screen. Put it on the screen. Put it on the screen. There we go. All right. Can you zoom out? Go to the, no. Hold, before you zoom out, hold on. Go to the minus sign in the bottom right corner. Before you click out, get rid of the, so get rid of, now, I want you to just slowly back out so they can see just how remote this island is. Keep going. Keep going. It is in the middle of nowhere, in the Indian Ocean. Now, zoom back. Now, go to where it say collapse. I mean, no. Come out of that and then go to, so we can see images, basically. I want to see images. Yeah, come out of that. Yeah, just go to images. You can put it back on the screen. Scroll down a little bit. We got a lot of crabs over there.
Oh yeah, I seen them little red crabs.
So those aren't the pictures. But when you talk about like some of the most clearest, bluest water that you've ever seen in your life, like it is a beautiful place. But unless Esau gives you permission to go, you can't go into the most remote. I don't know if you've ever taken a drive out west, like just going like towards Arizona, New Mexico. Like we think that these cities are heavily populated, but it's not really. It's more so just everybody choosing to live in one space. It is a lot of land in the United States of America, and every single inch of it is accounted by Esau. All of it is stolen, but every single inch is accounted for. In a remote place in the middle of nowhere in the United States of America, you can't even just go and and build your house, and because you have to pay for the land that they don't even. I tell you, Esau. So when it says their dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of the heaven from above. So Esau's going to own everything. Keep reading, verse 40.
And by thy sword shalt thou live.
And this is the point I wanted to get to.
And
so not only are they going to dwell in all the best places of the earth, but they're going to acquire it by force, by the sword, through violence. Violence is how they're going to acquire everything that they gain. Read.
And shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck.
Read.
And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing.
So, and this is where it starts. The hatred starts here. Because of the blessing, where we in June, what's the day? June the 6th? Or June the whatever? 9th, whatever it is, June the 8th. 2023. Esau is still hating on us. Esau still hates us. So,
do you know how spiritual that is? Think about this. We have never met Esau. The Esau. He has never met you. But yet, the Most High allowed that anger spirit to stay on them, and they skeeted from one Esau to the next one. Us, on the other hand, remember, we didn't have a problem with Esau. Remember, when we saw him again, we was giving him stuff, and guess what? We still got that same spirit on us too. We'll cake up for we will really bitch up for Esau.
We'll move out the way when they walk down the street.
Then we move out the way when he was coming.
It's in the book.
Jacob said, I can't even send all my kids by him at the same time.
Let's go walk over here.
He said, I'm going to send some of y'all at a time, and I'm going to send y'all with something. You just like give them some gifts when you walk by him. To this day, we still move like that around him. Y'all can say what y'all want to say. Oh, you do about them eating. Man, stop the bull jive. You get around them folks at work. You get around. Guess what? You might not want to eat their food or nothing, but you will sure be like, hey, Miss Margie, or whatever the little white lady name is. And guess what? That's only because you repented. The amount of understanding that we have for who they are now is only because we're repenting. And we know the position now. When you was in the world, guess what? A lot of us was happy to have a little white friend. Got me my little white friend I go hang out with. You shake your head. Nah, some of y'all ain't never had no white friend. That's crazy. Y'all ain't never hung out with white people in the world before you? Never.
His name was what we used to call him White Mike.
White Mike. I got hit in the mouth by a white boy. I thought he was white. Come find out he was Ephraim. But his name was Joseph. Crazy, right? Now that I know his name was Joseph Ortiz. But I'm just saying, in that regard, you like, I had a white friend. Her husband used to look like Superman.
Which one?
The regular one with the glasses.
Keanu Reeves?
Nah, Superman.
I said Keanu Reeves. I mean Christopher Reeves.
Christopher Reeves. Yeah, he just looked like if you imagine what Superman drawings look like he looked like Superman. And he used to study stars. So it was weird. But what I'm saying is, we never met him. We never dealt close quarters with the original Esau. But when the Lord said that there was going to be, in Ezekiel, he said that there's a perpetual hatred. Can we get that? Ezekiel 35?
Yeah, 5.
5, 6, somewhere in there.
Ezekiel chapter 35, verse 5.
Read.
Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel.
So just think, the Lord, like, these people really have a hatred and they never met the originals. And I'm saying, like, us, something happened. Let's just say 5 years from now, something happened. We don't necessarily, well, I don't know. Black women, they hate their husband. They have perpetual hatred for them sometimes. They remember everything. They were like, 10 years ago, you told me my foot was fat. Now, every time you say something about feet, she's like, I guess like my foot was fat too, huh? We like, sister, you still talking about that fat foot, huh? But in general, we tend to move along, like, take the Black Lives Matter, for instance. So many people that got killed, we don't even remember all their names no more. We be like, oh yeah, they did kill that. I forgot about. You remember what's the one boy? Trayvon Martin, Sandra Bland, and then like the newer ones. We tend to let that thing go after a while. I don't know if it's, but they don't let nothing go. They don't let it go. They remember it forever, to the point that they're continuing something that happened over 3,000 years ago. Y'all imagine that? Something that happened over 3,000 years ago. Well, at least 2,000. They still own it. I remember, nigga, you took my birthright. I remember. You be like, bruh, I'm over here in slavery. Don't matter. I remember. Just because you took it, you beat your ass with this stick. You be like, God. All right.
And what officer said, everything that Esau acquired, he did it by violence. So let's explore it a little bit. We're gonna read this other verse, and then we're gonna kind of get into some of these articles and stuff. Let's go to Psalms chapter 17, start at verse number 8. We're gonna read all the way down, or at least to verse. Yeah, we're gonna read all the way through. At least to 14.
Psalm chapter 17, verse 8.
Uh-huh.
Keep me as the apple of the eye. Hide me under the shadow of thy wings.
So David is praying and asking for protection from his enemies. He says to keep me under the shadow of your wing. Read.
From the wicked that oppress me, from my deadly enemies who compass me about.
Uh-huh.
They are enclosed in their own fat.
They're safe in their own fat. They're because they have the best of everything, because they have acquired the blessing, or I say the blessing, they have acquired blessings. They have the ability to what's the word? I don't say encircle. Basically, they have the ability or have become a problem for David, basically. They become a problem. Read.
With their mouth they speak proudly. They have now compassed us in our steps.
Well, you know how they speak proudly? You look at, for the example what Officer Carmelo was just showing. There's so many different instances of Esau showing their pride. I mean, look at what they've done throughout history. Look at Christianity. Look at how they've acquired everything. It's even through their violence. They feel that it's like a sense of entitlement almost. It's like when you meet them, it's like they feel like things are supposed to go their way. And then when it don't go their way, they literally cannot compute, like, how is this happening? Like, why are you not giving me what I'm saying that I want? Y'all never seen it online? It's like they literally will go crazy when things don't go their way. Keep reading.
They have set their eyes bowing down to the earth.
Okay.
Like as a lion that is greedy of his prey. And as it were a young lion lurking in secret places.
Read.
Arise, O Lord, disappoint him.
Disappoint him. Don't let his wicked devices be able to destroy us. Read.
Cast him down. Deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword.
Because by the sword is how he's going to live. And so, because of, real quick, 2 Chronicles 24. Yeah, 2 Chronicles 24. 24, and we're going to read verses 24 and 25.
2 Chronicles.
No, it's 34, not 24, 34.
Okay, yes, sir.
Oh, let me see. 2 Chronicles. 34, 24 and 25.
2 Chronicles chapter 34, verse 24. Thus saith the Lord, behold, I will bring evil upon this place and upon the inhabitants thereof, even all the curses that is written in the book which they have read before the king of Judah.
Read.
Because they have forsaken me.
So the reason why we had to suffer the curses is because we broke God's commandments. And one of the ways he showed that he showed us to have to endure these curses is by making Esau his sword. Esau is the punishment. What was that? Was it I think it was Genghis Khan that says that I forget the quote, but it's something along the lines of like he's a punishment for the world. Like, and if God didn't want to punish the world, then he would have never created him because he killed so many people. I don't remember how it goes, but it was something along that lines. Like he understood that he was created to be a terror. Oh, go ahead and get it then. Go ahead and get it.
Psalms chapter 58, verse 2.
Yeah, that's it right there. Put that on the screen real quick. That's what he said. Okay. But just imagine, so this is what he said, but this is what Esau lives. Can you see that, officer?
Yes, sir. I am the punishment of God.
So he's saying that he was created to be a punishment. Read.
If you had not committed great sins, God would not have sent a punishment like me upon you.
Read.
It is not sufficient that I succeed. All others must fail.
And so now when you look at Esau, this is what Esau is. He has become our punishment. And if we hadn't sinned, like it just says here in Chronicles, then God would not have had to send that punishment to whip us in shape. That's why it says in Psalms that Esau is the sword. Go ahead.
Psalm chapter 58, verse 2.
Psalm chapter 58, verse 2. Yea, in heart ye work wickedness. Ye weigh the violence of your hands in the earth.
That's Esau. That's what it's saying. He's a punishment. He's the sword. His violence is he moves through violence. Bro, this man moves
all
like
he knows.
Bro, it's how we say this is his mode of operation. If it ain't violent, he can't.
He don't understand.
He don't understand. That's why he constantly waiting for a return of violence. He like, bro, I mean, if it was me, surely I would have bombed your house back. And he like, y'all niggas ain't gonna bomb back. Y'all ain't gonna. I know what it is. It's a sneak attack. You'll never catch me slipping, Negroes. You know what I'm saying? But he's always waiting for violence. Like this, bruh, this is how he lives. And the officer finna show Look all these books he got of violence this man done perpetuated. Can y'all imagine the amount of things this man done did to like you say, the scriptures say his violence of his hand is weighed in the earth. You think just on Jacob.
Everybody done had to deal with it.
You know what I'm saying? Only thing about the other people is he'll back off of them. You see, he bombed Ammon. He dropped the biggest bomb the world ever seen on Ammon.
And
then
give him
was
some
like,
money. He gave some money. Take this little check.
He was like, that was a little much. My bad. He dropped bombs on niggas. He be like, what bomb?
They sent what, 38 some million to Ukraine? Or a billion or something like that.
40 billion?
Something like that.
Yeah.
We can't even get a couple dollars for our reparations, and we here in America living with him.
Nah.
Still.
He don't care nothing about that. But like I say, he went over there and took pictures. It was niggas shadow on the wall.
75 billion.
Japan like this.
More than 75 billion sent to Ukraine.
Dang. Yo, yeah, that was like 40 the last run. But you know what I'm saying? When he bombed Ammon, and then when it took pictures like, dang, that nigga on the wall.
He went and took selfies.
You're like, that's crazy. Look at that. Put him in some little concentration camps. And then afterwards, he was like, my bad. They bombed Black Wall Street and kept the insurance money. They ain't even let them folks collect their insurance that they had them built up. He like, look, we had insurance on this house. He like, what insurance? What house? Wasn't no city here. And they left one house standing and made it a museum.
They did the same thing to all the, because, you know, it's becoming less and less black farmers. They keep hitting Jake with that eminent domain thing and keep taking, I think it's been like millions of acres of land that has been stolen from our people. Esau just keeps taking everything. And then if we decide we don't want to sell it, they either hit you with the eminent domain or they'll just destroy all your crops. And then now your hard work and everything you've invested, it's all gone now. And you can't afford it, so now they just come and take the land.
He be like, oh, this is a whole lot of collard greens you grew. Achoo!
All of it gone.
Shit just died.
All of it gone.
Like, I don't know what happened. Oh, well. Looks like you can't keep up with the payments.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to build a pool right here.
Speaking of that pool, Lake Lanier. It's so many of these lakes that we think are man-made are not man-made. They were black towns that Esau flooded and took the land.
Bro, we tabernacled on top of Negroes one time. Y'all remember, what's the one we went to in Alabama?
Yeah.
One of the last lakes that we went to, it was a black town, and we just out there just ha 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 ha, ride the jet ski, and they were like, this used to be a black town. We was like, oh, what? Like it's like the scripture said. Read Psalms 58 again.
Mm-hmm.
Psalm chapter 58, verse 2. Yea, in heart ye work wickedness. Ye weigh the violence of your hands in the earth.
That's what he said. That's violent. You know how much violence it takes to go see a town full of blacks and shoot as many of them as you can in one night. And then when the rest of them running trying to get away, you just open the water to the dam. Just what town? And then wondering why all your little kids keep dying every summer. Shout out to the ancestors. That's what them black people be saying. My ancestor did it. Well, somebody ancestor they be saying that where you work at, Yehoshua. The E5 people, they're the ones who was next door. The ancestors.
Yep.
My ancestors killing them in Lake Lanier. Well, his violence is that. Lake Martin. What was the other lake? Was that Lake Martin the one we went to? And it's a clip where a girl ran down a list of them.
Yeah.
Man, it was over like 20 of them things where they just done flooded out.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, but when it comes to our people, when it come to Jake, there's no remembrance. Like I said, when it comes to the other nations, he'll go back and get them money. My bad. Here go about 30. Here go 40 trillion. Here go whatever. We gonna help rebuild your country. They went and rebuilt Japan.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Did they ever rebuild? What was it was something with a C, whatever the town. We don't even know the names of the towns no more. We just, like I said, we forget. We be like, ho hum. Guess we'll just move on, make something else. They kill you. Oh well, we just make another nigga. It's all right. Yeah, that's just the way it go. But when it come to him, he don't think like that. he has a remembrance for those things, for that violence and everything that he do. Like I would say, he takes it by violence. He does it through violence. He does it through lies. He does it through covetousness. This is how he moves. All right.
Right. So now let's explore that a little. Let's explore that. Put up the first book. We're going to go to the book called The Black Indians. Put up the cover of the book first. Yep, right there. Yep. And I like to show the cover of the books just in case y'all want to grab some of these. I haven't made it all the way through this book. I've gotten about halfway through it, but it's a lot of good information in this book. So feel free to. All right, don't do that though. All right, let's go to the page in the book. It should be page 27. Yep. If you can zoom that in, excuse the pictures if the pictures aren't, if they're not that legible. So it's, in the section it says, it began with Columbus. So let's start with Columbus.
For the people of the Americas, the arrival of Columbus was hardly a blessing.
Wait, so he's celebrated. They have a Columbus Day. But they say for the people of the Americas, Gad and Reuben, his arrival was hardly a blessing. Read.
On his first day,
day one. On his first day. Now, what history teaches us what? He came for spices and gold or whatever he came for. On his first day, read.
October 12th, 1492. The explorer wrote in his diary, I took some of the natives by force.
So wait a minute. So how is it that he's coming for gold and spices or looking for whatever he's looking for, and then he takes men and women captive, which means that if that's what he did on his first day, he already went with that in mind. He had the necessary tools to house these people. Let's keep reading. It's going to tell you how many he took.
He later found the original inhabitants to be tractable, peaceable.
That's what Officer Carmelo was saying, right? And we're going to go into this other book, how they were offering gold. They were being friendly. And in them being friendly, some of them were torn to pieces. Go ahead and read.
And concluded, there is not in the world a better nation. His response as
so he's mocking them. There's not a nicer people. But you took them on the very first day, you take them into slavery? Go ahead and read.
His response as a European was to say that Indians must be made to work and adopt our ways.
Made to work and adopt our ways. That's your Christianity. Because remember, Bishop's gone over about the Papal Bulls, how they were given permission to come and do it. We're going to actually even explore too who gave them permission to do it. But go ahead and read.
The Christopher Columbus, whose unique seamanship and courage had opened the Americas to European penetration, also began the transatlantic slave trade.
Wait a minute, man. So you mean on Columbus coming to take the natives, that paved the way for the transatlantic slave trade? Keep reading. Remember, so what we're doing now is we're going through some of these books, on some of these articles, and we're showing how Esau has been able to be effective by his sword. The scripture says that he has been made to be this sword. And what does a sword do? It's a weapon to kill and go against your enemies. This is what Esau has become, and this is how he has acquired everything that he has. Read.
He started by shipping 10-chain Arawak men and women to Seville, Spain. In 1498, he wrote enthusiastically to King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella about the business possibilities. From here, in the name of the blessed Trinity, we can send all the slaves that can be sold.
So in the name of Christianity, we can send all these slaves that can be sold. And our people, we got brothers and sisters right now going to church every single Sunday that if you show them this, it's cognitive dissonance. It can't.
Not my Jesus.
Not my Jesus. Not my Jesus. Keep reading. It gets worse.
When he loaded 1,100 Taino men and women aboard.
How on the first day you take 1,000 people into slavery and then you take them back to Spain? That was the intent in his heart already. Read.
Aboard 4 Spanish ships. The crowding and the stormy Atlantic.
Keep that in mind. So he took 1,100 Taino men and women aboard 4 Spanish ships. We're going to find out about those ships next. Read.
The crowding and the stormy Atlantic crossing took a fearful toll.
So out of 1,100 men and women, read.
Only 300 survived.
So wait a minute.
Like 800 folks
died before they even made it to Spain. So
He
what?
like, I had a lot more, but shit.
He don't care. He doesn't care. He's the sword. All he understands is violence. This is your friendly neighborhood white man, as Bishop says. This is who he is. Read.
But Columbus and Spain had decided to continue the profitable slave trade from the Americas. Seville became the slave capital of Spain.
And so now we know how a lot of our brothers and sisters took on the names of Fernandez and Lopez and Cortez and all these different Ezras and stuff, because they same way how we end up as Williams and Jacksons and Johnsons and all those. They were just enslaved by a different name of people. Still Esau, just a different name of people. So now take this one down.
Got more ones than a Puerto Rican family reunion.
Exactly. Exactly. Let's go to the next book, the very first one. Yeah, the short account. Put that one on screen. Yep, put that on the screen. So now, if you want to get this book, now this book goes into a lot, and it has the pictures and the imagery. Now this book right here, it's very, very detailed about some of the most gruesome things that they did to our brothers and sisters. So now this is after Columbus has came and has done what he's done. A lot of this takes place like in around like the early 1500s to early 1600s, before the Africans started coming over here, right? So now let's go to that page in the book. And I only went to just one page, but this entire book is filled with pictures, and it is gruesome and it's very graphic. Go ahead and read this.
But these folk be on the internet.
The Spaniards agreed to slaughter or castigate, as they term it, Indians right there to instill fear and bravery in every corner of this region, for in all the countries that they came, they took this course. Once they arrived, they committed notorious butcheries, which made those innocent sheep tremble for fear. For this purpose, they called the governors and nobles of the cities, and all places subject unto them, together with their supreme lord, told they should appear before them. And no sooner did they attend in expectation of some capitulation or discourse with the Spanish commander. But they were presently seized upon and detained prisoners before anyone could advertise or give them notice of their captivity.
So basically, they took some people, they took some captive, and then told them that they need to make sure that your other people come as well too. But they hid them, and so that when the other people came, surprise, y'all used to be free, but not no more.
Caught you, bitch.
Basically. Read.
They demanded of them 5,000 or 6,000 Indians to carry their baggage. And as soon as they came the Spaniards locked in the backyards. It was a pity to see these Indians when they appeared to carry the load, because they were naked.
So they made them work with no clothes on. Read.
Their bodies were only covered with a net over their shoulders containing their food.
All right, drop that. I actually just sent you another one. I forgot to send this one. The one that I just now sent. Let's put that one up, please.
Can you imagine coming
It would be in the telegram.
We be forgetting, and we think about roots. But it went the other way too. Like, they came from Spain, came here, and took people back to Spain, and they killed 800 on the way. It was like, just think, to get 300 back, you said, now this is profitable.
Mm-hmm. Out of 1,100.
Out of 1,100, you only got 300 of them back, and they said, yes, this is worth continuing this profitable slave trade. That means they didn't stop. They didn't stop until it started coming the other way in 18, the early 1800s. When they really quit, they were like, all right,
that's 1804, 1808, something like that.
Like, all right, we quit. And they still had one last boat, the one that came, oh yeah. It's called Africa Town in Mobile.
Yeah.
These were the last ones that they know came on a boat. They got a little town called Africa. And
I have that book too. There's
Clotilda is the name of the boat.
Right. One of the brothers that survived that, one of the last ships, he has a what they got, autobiography, I guess. But I have that book as well too. And he goes into a lot of detail about what happened to him.
But just saying, this is the mentality of this guy. For 800 of your people to die is a good day. He like, run the play. This is the kind of man you dealing with. And guess what? Y'all have to keep that in y'all mind at all times so that you know if you go against these commandments, who hand you falling into. Like, that's why the Lord say, if when he say in Romans 13, if you ain't did nothing, then you ain't gotta be, don't worry about him. The powers that be is of me. But let's get that. Go to Romans 13. I don't know. I feel like I was butchering that one. My paraphraser was.
Start at verse 1.
It was parrying. 13.
1.
Sure. Start at 1. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Romans chapter 13, verse 1. Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers.
So this is us. We are actually subject to a murderous, thieving, son allergic to-ish kind of guy. This is who we dealing with. Read.
For there is no power but of God.
And this is what we going through. All of this is a direct result of going against God. This is a direct result of breaking the commandments. Read.
The powers that be are ordained of God. Whosoever therefore resisteth the power, resisteth the ordinance of God.
Read on.
And they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation.
Read it.
For rulers are not a terror to good works.
That part. The powers that the Most High God ordained, he said they not a terror. You don't have to worry about him burning your body up. Whatever this picture showing, or him coming and kidnapping you, or doing whatever they do to our people, because they do a lot to our people that we probably really don't even have no real account of. You know what I'm saying? Just like, say, for instance, all of the missing persons. If you look on Facebook every day it's a missing person. Every day somebody, little girl missing. Last seen in a book bag was a purple hair and her jeans on. Help Tika get, I say Tika, damn. Well, somebody get home safe, whatever her name was. Tika just popped in my head, I don't know. But you help them get home safe. And that's what we always looking at. But guess what? Just like everything else, like I said, we forget. We move right along, on to the next. But guess what? Thousands of them are gone. And we have no idea what happened to them. You ain't finding them. Ain't no, you out of 12 little girls that get missing, one pop back up and they say we find it. And that's because she was somewhere being hot with a little boy. The ones that really disappear, we don't see them no more. But that's a curse. He said, you're going to go into captivity. You're not going to enjoy your sons and your daughters because they're going to go into captivity. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people. Yeah. And guess what? You can't even say if he did it or not because you ain't seen him no more. You ain't got no hands-on proof, but all you know is he just keep. So what a black man gonna do with 40,000 little people? And because they ain't always little kids. What is a black man gonna do with 40,000 missing people? Who you think he, if the black man was even involved with it, who you think he doing it for? Who you think he doing it for? We sold crack, right? But who made more money off the crack than we did? So-called white man made way more money off the crack than you did. He made money 3 times. He made money off 4 times. He made money off the cocaine, the baking soda, the crack, and the jail time. He made way more money than you made. And the taxes. Guess what, man? He got you buying baggies and Pyrex dishes, and your water bill got to stay on because you got to cook this crack. This man made money all over the same way as in when there's other atrocities happening to our people, the scriptures say when you find yourself in oppression, you'll find him there first. He behind it. He got something to do with it. But the Lord say, you don't have to fit. Rulers is not terror to good works. Read from right there, officer.
Verse 3, for rulers are not a terror to good works, but to the evil. Wilt thou then not be afraid of the power?
That's what you got to be afraid of. You got to be afraid of Esau when you know you in the midst of that bull jive you got going on. That little slick thing you got going on that don't nobody know about. Like, that might be the thing that the Lord say, Esau, go snatch his little ass up. He ain't listening to mother, to father and or mother. Snatch him up. Next thing you know, it was somebody in the body that happened to. A while ago, it was a brother and he was being like real combative. He was a weird kind of brother. But guess what? When his son disappeared, guess where the first place he come? Can y'all help me find my son? Wait a minute. I thought we was niggas. I thought we was. But when that terror come upon you, the first place you go is where the people that's keeping the commandments at. Because guess what's in the back of your mind? I know why this happening. I know exactly why this happening. Because I'm being a nigga. I'm teaching my son how to be a nigga, not somebody that got my little nigga. All right.
So, Officer Heeman, I'm gonna. I didn't send this page, but I'm gonna read a couple of sentences off this page, and then you pick up from what you see on the screen. But with that, don't show the picture just yet. I only want just the words. Can you make it big enough so we can just only see the words? Okay, cool. That'll work. So it says, when the Spaniards no sooner perceived, but they mounted on generous steeds, well-weaponed with lances and swords, began to exercise their bloody butcheries and stratagems and overrunning their cities and towns. So now this is after Columbus has been here for a while and has done what he done, and now more and more Spaniards are starting to come here. I'm going to read to you how they started taking over some of the areas, right? It says, and overrunning their cities and towns, spared no age or sex, nay, not so much as pregnant women, but ripping up their bellies, tore them alive in pieces. They laid wagers among themselves, so they're betting, who should with a sword now you pick up, Officer Heeman.
One blow cut or divide a man in two.
So now they're making bets of who can be the first person to slice somebody in half. They're making bets to do this. Read.
Or which of them should decollate or behead a man with the greatest dexterity. Nay, farther, which should sheathe his sword in the bowels of a man with the quickest dispatch and expedition.
Yes, that's what that says. That's exactly what that says. You have a question, Brother Roosevelt? What you got? Oh, you didn't see? Did y'all put it on the screen? Put the name of the book back on the screen if you can. Yes. I'm not sure if they put it on the screen. They probably did. Yes, sir.
It's called a short.
Just take a picture. Okay. Yeah, same book. Yeah. Okay. All right. Go back. Mm-hmm. So they're making bets to see who can chop people's heads off, who can cut people in half, and go back to that part. Which should sheath
his sword in the bowels of a man with the quickest dispatch and expedition.
Who can stick your sword in?
You know what a sheath is? Do you know what the sheath of the sheath of a sword is? Nicodemus, you know what the sheath of a sword is? Nah, it's the part that it go. You know, ever seen when how the samurai pull their sword out the little sword thing cover-upperer?
Sword cover.
Yeah, sword. I was trying to use a word that he might know, cover-upperer. Because if I use sheath, he already don't know what the sheath is.
Sword cover.
Sword cover. So they saying to sheathe your sword means to put it back in its cover. So they saying who can sheathe their sword in a man's bowel?
Like try to put the sword in the rectum, like they're putting the sword in a sheath. Yeah, that's what that's saying.
That's the kind of nigga you dealing with.
This book is gruesome, and this just one page. This book is filled. You want to learn what the Spaniards did? This book goes into great detail about what they did to our brothers and sisters. Keep reading.
They snatched young babies from the mother's breast and then dashed out the brains of those innocents against the rocks.
So imagine taking a baby, hanging the baby by its feet, and then, I said feet?
Yep.
I didn't mean to say feet.
Both of them.
I caught myself, though. I caught myself. Holding the baby by its feet and then swinging it into a rock. Go ahead and read.
Others they cast into rivers, scoffing and jeering them, and called upon their bodies when falling with derision, the true testimony of their cruelty to come to them, and humanely exposing others to their merciless swords.
Remember, we keep talking about this. The whole point. Esau, they live by the sword. It's through their violence. Through their violence, that's how they acquired everything that they have. Read.
Together with the mothers that gave them life, they erected certain gibbets, large but low made, so that their feet almost reached the ground. Every one of which was so ordered as to bear their 13 persons in honor and reverence, as they said blasphemously of our Redeemer and his 12 apostles.
You know what's horrible about that? If you hanging from something,
Now, as officer speaking, now show the picture.
it says that they erected these giblets. What do you think you're gonna do as your feet is almost touching the ground? You're gonna keep trying to get you, and they know put your feet just far enough that you can scrape your toes on the ground.
But you just can't. You
But
can't relieve the pressure.
Get no balance or nothing to get this pressure off your throat. But this nigga is a torturer.
Look at what the baby. Look at the baby. Right here on the left. He's getting ready to swing that baby into the rock.
With all his strength, every
back.
bit of might he got. Yeah, he cocked back. Now Swole gonna do, but when Swole get in the kingdom, but he gonna hurt him one. I can see it in his face. He like, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. But for real, like y'all have to think about this man is a violent man, but we gonna not be the black woman. We're finna look at some accountability of ourselves. The Lord say, I have a controversy with you. All of this is happening because of what we did to each other. This happened. Somebody slung your little cousin, baby, nephew, auntie, god, baby, somebody against a rock because of what you did. Because of what your grandparents did. Because of what your great-grandparents did. Somebody got hung by their neck and a sword sheathed in their body. Because of what you did. Because of what we did. Because of our hatred towards each other. Because of our unforgiveness towards each other. Because of our hatred for the God that made us. And guess what? We still doing it. We still doing it. And wondering, well, guess what? Now it don't look like this. Now he said, I can't dash your baby against the rock, but I'm going to shoot it in the arm and it ain't going to develop right. Might as well have hit his head on a rock.
Oh, yeah, we gonna get right here.
Might as well hit his head on a rock.
We're going to dig into that too.
He gonna, instead of sheathing his sword in your behind, he do it with a billy club. Whoop. You know, remember he did that to that man in New York a long time ago? It was probably in like the 90s. He took that billy club, you know, the little stick the police hit you with, and he sheathed it right up that man behind. Whoop. In the prison, in the jail. The police did it to him. But I'm just saying, now instead of having to just kill you in the field, I just make all your food poison. You don't even know I'm killing you. You just sitting there eating it because you hungry and greedy. And you keep wondering why that little bump on the side of your ribs keep growing. Or something in your neck keeps swelling up big like a frog. Why? Because of the hatred we got to each other that got us in place. Well, not only do he do it, we got to live with him. We got to live with him. Remember, everybody else, the nations, he'll do something to them, but then he'll go on his way. He'll set up a little embassy where he could pop in and out when he want to, but we have to actually live with him. The Lord made us live with this man. Are y'all even contemplating that? Like, dang, God, you just gonna make us live with the nigga too? That's like living with something. That's like being molested or something as a kid, and then you gotta, what Dave Chappelle say, you gotta go see him every Thanksgiving. Same uncle. You come rub on your shoulder. How you doing? Yeah. That's the face. Yeah, that face. All right.
All right, so let's go in a little bit more. We got about 4 more books to go through. So now put up the other book, Christopher Columbus. That doesn't say Christopher Columbus. Nah, I sent you another one. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Keep going. I didn't send. Okay, well, let me send it real quick. I could have swore I sent this. All right, let me send it real quick.
Oh, so let me see. I ain't had no script for that. The brain had done went like I said everything I wanted to say. I was trying to let you have the rest of your class.
Oh, no, we good. We good. They're getting it right now. All right, it's coming. It's going to the class content right now. Put the cover of the book up. And remember, I made mention about on his first day he took 1,100 Taino men and Arawak men and women back to Spain, right? But now, let's find out who gave him not even authority, but financed him in being able to do this. All right. So now put this book on the screen. I've showed y'all this book before. The last time we did it, I was showing you about the black Jews and the Moranos and stuff like that. But there's another part in here now that's relative to what we're talking about right now. So take a picture of this book if you want to get it. Christopher Columbus and the African Holocaust. And what did Christopher Columbus have to do with that? All right. Let's go into the book. Go to the page. This book has it. Now, if you're interested in this type of stuff, it's a lot that goes into this book as well, too. This book mainly talks about the connection between I sent you the picture. Okay, all right. The connection between the transatlantic slave trade and what Columbus did. So start on where it says Christopher Columbus. Put it on the screen. All right, let's start. So in this book, Christopher Columbus and the African Holocaust. Read.
Christopher Columbus in 1492 set out for a new world.
No, it wasn't new, but go ahead.
Let's ask some questions.
Let's ask some questions.
This man has had no command position.
So he was a nobody. He's famous now for discovering America, but he was a nobody. He had no command position. Read.
He has not even been a petty officer.
He ain't served in the military, nothing. Read.
How then did this obscure sailor become admiral of the ocean seas for the Spanish Navy?
So how did this nobody from nowhere come into the position of now he is renowned in history? He got a holiday named after him and everything. Read.
Who is behind this?
Who supports this man? Because clearly, if he's a nobody and he's known in history, he had to have had some strong backing, right? Read.
Why is it that Christopher Columbus sailed from Spain the same week the Spanish expelled the Jews?
Wait, and so in this book, right, what we just was looking at, in this book here, on that same page, where did it go? Where is it at? Right here. Okay, I'll just read this part because I forgot to read it. It says, from which time they began to consider by what ways and means they might expel the Spaniards out of their country. The Spaniards that they're talking about is these Jews. They were trying to get rid of us because we were already in Spain. Go ahead and read.
Who exactly was Christopher Columbus? Was he sailing out ahead of the expulsion?
All right, read.
Michael Bradley and others have now located those who financed the ship.
So who financially supported Christopher Columbus?
They were all Jewish bankers.
Did you have a glitch?
Oh, no, I thought you was asking the crowd. I'm sorry.
We had a glitch in the matrix.
I get a bomb for that.
Right. Go ahead.
They were all Jewish bankers who were told, give me your money or give me your life.
So Amalek was the financiers of Christopher Columbus's voyage. You think they didn't know that our people was already over here? They knew. Christopher Columbus already knew. People knew that we were over here. Because if y'all remember, I forgot which law class we was talking about it, but how even with Solomon's Navy, how they was traveling, like they coming to this side of the world was not a new thing. That's how Northern Kingdom already knew about this existing, right? You read about it in Kings and the Navy and stuff like that. So they already knew that people were over here. They just never came over this way. But once he had the financing to do it, now what does he do? So now he explains where he got all the money to get the chains and everything that he would need to subdue these people and take them back to Spain. Keep reading.
They were the chief translators on the boat. He was to go to Asia. Why didn't he go to Asia?
Wait, so if he's supposed to go to Asia, why didn't he go? Read.
Sailing up and down the Guinea coast, West Africa.
Oh, wait. So if he's supposed to be going to Africa, supposed to be going to Asia, why is he sailing up and down the coast of Africa? Read.
He had discovered from African sailors who had already gone to the New World.
You supposed to do a bomb right there. Wait, so you mean our people had already come to the New World? They were already over here? That's how Christopher Columbus and the Jewish and all the people knew that we were already over here? And it says from African sailors who had already gone to the New World. Read.
There was a possibility of gold in another direction.
And you read in this book here, it's like Northern Kingdom was extremely wealthy over here. And when I tell you they lost a lot, they lost a whole lot. So, all right, so now you can drop that. You can drop that. You can drop that. You can drop that. Now, yeah, that's heavy, man. That's heavy. Now, put up the other book. I showed y'all this book on Tuesday. I didn't get a chance to go into it, but we'll go into it now. They were her property. Put it on the screen. Remember, I was showing y'all how this book, now remember, keep in mind, we're still talking about Esau is the sword and how he gains everything, how he rules. And I mentioned to you that this book here, now we're not going to go through this entire book. It's a pretty big book. But I'm going to just read to you one account of Esau being the sword to our people as it relates to the women. How many pages did I send you in this book? It should have been like 3 or 4. 1, 2, 3. Looks like 4. Yeah. All right, let's start on the first one. And just kind of read through it kind of fast. Yeah, we're going to read all that.
Yes, sir. On occasion, slave-owning mothers and daughters disciplined enslaved people together. When Henrietta King was about 8 or 9 years old, she was responsible for emptying her owner's chamber pots. When she went to collect,
we're reading a story about a slave by the name of Henrietta King. All right, read.
When she went to collect the pot in her mistress's room each morning, she noticed that a piece of candy would be left on the washstand. She knew that her mistress had left it there as a test to see whether she would take it.
So she's testing her, see if you're going. Now, come on, you're 8, 9 year old. You know they want the candy. You know they want the candy. Go ahead and read.
And at first she resisted, but after several days, King yielded to temptation. Her mistress, King claimed, kept the people who labored in her home in a state of near starvation.
So she starved everybody in that. This is a white woman, starved. Like this whole book, it's you read about the men, but this book it mainly points out the evils of the white woman and them supporting their white husbands. But she starved everybody in that house because that baby took a piece of candy. Go ahead and read.
King's mistress noticed that the candy was gone and questioned her. When she denied stealing the candy, her mistress began to whip her. King refused to remain still. So her mistress grabbed her by the legs and pinned her head under the rocker of her chair while her young daughter whipped her.
So what she did was put the little girl's head under the rocking chair and had her white daughter to whip her.
That was George Floyd. George Floyd. What they say right now when they pepper spraying you and hitting you? Start resisting. That's what they just said the little girl was doing. You hitting her, but she won't remain still, so you pin her head under a rocking chair. Then they pin that brother's neck under another man's knee so that they homeboys could finish the job.
How long was his knee on George Floyd?
8 minutes and 50-something seconds.
Watch what they did to this little 8-year-old girl.
For approximately an hour, a veered King. Her mistress rocked back and forth on her head while her daughter beat her with a cowhide.
For an hour, you do this to this baby. For an hour. It gets worse.
The constant pressure from the rocking
Are y'all not paying attention? You talking about what's the name of the book? I showed the name of the book already. They were her property. I got to pay attention. Pay attention. Well, you know what, Sister Navar, am I talking too fast? Because I know I be having a habit of doing that sometimes. If I'm talking too fast, I apologize. I don't think I am. I'm not. No. Okay. So yeah. So y'all ain't paying attention. Go ahead. Go ahead and read.
The constant pressure from the rocking chair.
So keep the constant pressure from the rocking chair
crushed the bones in the left side of King's jaw. After the beating, she could not open her mouth, and the left side constantly slid sideways to the right.
She couldn't even. Esau is the sword, and everything that he acquires, everything he does, is with violence. Look at Quita's face. I know you because when you read it, you feel it. You feel it in your face. You crush the baby's jaw so she can't even hold her. She can't even hold her face. Keep reading.
Her mistress called a doctor.
What is it like when they have a stroke? How sometimes different parts of their face or their body they don't. Keep reading.
Her mistress called a doctor, but after examining her, he determined that nothing could be done. Her face was irreparably mutilated. Her mistress never brutalized King again, but her disfigurement was disquieting. And the mistress was so disturbed by it that the family decided to give King to a female cousin.
So she put the baby head under the rocking chair, had her daughter beat her for an hour, so now she's permanently disfigured. And so she couldn't even stand and look at the girl no more, so she sold her to her cousin because she couldn't look at her no more. Read.
Who King claimed treated her kindly.
Man. Read.
This one act of brutality affected the rest of Henrietta King's life. She could not chew, so she was forced to consume liquid, stews, and soup. The teeth on the left side of her face never grew back.
So if you want to learn more about that type of history, this book is filled with those types of stories of what white men, I can't even talk, what white women were doing to the slaves. That's just one of the stories. It's a lot. Go ahead.
Y'all ever heard of the Daughters of the Confederate? Who said yes? Only one person. Hey, Google that for me, officer. Daughters of the Confederate. It's just because we going over. So this is just a little bit more, just because he's bringing out what Esau women do. They ain't never been innocent. They got a whole group. They call the Daughters of the Confederate.
Who made the hoods? It wasn't no dude making the hoods.
What he did?
Who dry cleaned the hoods?
It was the Daughters of the Confederacy. They are the same. Look, the same way they holler a black man touched them and they get him killed. They was always a part of whatever. Like say, like right now, it looks like some women that were a part of helping the war. These was the daughters of the Klansmen. This who this really was. Now they make it look so nice. You know what I'm saying? It looks so sweet and innocent as patriotic society. No. These was women who was helping Klansmen. These was their wives and their daughters, their nieces, and guess what? They was doing the same thing. Like the what the lady is in Color Purple who had Oprah Winfrey driving for her. That kind of woman. Just one of them. But that's just something that y'all could go look up. So when y'all sisters looking and dealing, and Miss, what her name was? Miss Millie. Sophia home now. Sophia home.
I sent you one more, Ira.
All right. But yeah, y'all sisters, y'all look up that kind of stuff, because guess what? This teaching points for y'all. You know what I'm saying? It's not just the men. The Lord said this is the people.
And you know how diabolical, like when a woman, like what they say, nothing's how does it go? Nothing's more dangerous than a woman scorned or something like that. Or nothing's more. What is it? Nothing more wicked than a woman scorned. So when you the stuff that the women would do, like, so we see in the movies how a lot of the crazy stuff that the men would do, but some of the diabolical things, like I'm gonna show you one more, just so y'all can understand what's in this, the type of stuff that's in this book. Put this one on the screen, and we're gonna read the highlighted part.
When another formerly enslaved woman forgot to refer to her mistresses.
Wait, so this chapter is called Mistresses in the Making. So this chapter goes into the things that the white women would do to train their children to understand the idea of their superiority. So they would do like a lot of little small things to make the children understand. Like they would make the slaves, anytime a slave would come in the room, they had to bow down and address the child, no matter if it was 1, 2, 3 years old, as the master or the mistress. Every single time. And if you didn't do it, this is what happened. Now go ahead, read. When another
formerly enslaved woman forgot to refer to her mistress's 8 or 9 month old daughter as Miss.
8 or 9 month old daughter who don't even speak or understand. Read.
Her mistress put her in a stock and beat her.
Who knows what a stock is? You ever seen those things where you got to put your head in and your arms in it like this? Like when that's what a stock is. So she was put into the stock and she was beaten. Watch, read.
While she was in the stock.
While she's in the stocks. Now, not only is she in the stocks, she's getting beaten while she's in the stock. Read.
The woman twisted her leg until it broke. And even then continued to beat her until she was satisfied her point had been made.
Can we get Malachi chapter 4? Because this is why he said it's not just the
Before
man.
we get, let's finish that last part. Then we get Malachi, so we can be done with this book.
Sometimes the punishment went farther.
Sometimes it went a little farther.
One enslaved woman recalled that when you called your masters children by their names, they would strip you and let the child beat you. It didn't matter whether the child was large or small. They always beat you till the blood ran down.
They beat you till you got blood.
Malachi chapter 4. Because that's why I say this ain't just the man. This is all
like you said, the people.
them.
The people.
This is
whom God said he had ended
all
forever.
them. Read.
Malachi chapter 4, verse 1.
Read.
For, behold, the day cometh, that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly, shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. But unto you that fear my name shall the Son of Righteousness arrive with healing in his wings. And ye shall go forth and grow up as calves of the stall. And ye shall tread down the wicked, for they shall be ashes under the soles of your feet in the day that I shall do this, saith the Lord of hosts.
Right. Read.
Remember ye the law of Moses, my servant, which I commanded unto him in Horeb for all Israel, with the statutes and judgments. Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse.
Malachi 1 and 4.
Okay, you want 1 and 4. Yes, sir. Malachi chapter 1, verse 4. Whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness.
He said this people is the beginning and ending of wickedness. You know, like if you get to the border of Canada, this is where Canada start. And if you go on the other side, this is where Canada stop. That's them niggas. Like, they is where evil start and where evil start. Bro, do you know how much force it take to twist somebody's leg till it pops? Do you know that if you sitting there, you'll probably be like, ooh, it's like it's about to break. Not them. Them niggas like,
Diabolical.
snap. Like I said, and would continue to beat them until they felt they point. Her point was made. She wasn't satisfied. That's what the Lord said. This is what the who at 1 and 4. Officer.
Yes, sir. Verse 4.
All right.
Whereas Edom said, we are impoverished.
Yeah, that was the wrong sound effect.
We are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness.
Border, the beginning and ending of wickedness. And read on.
And the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever.
People. They little badass churn. They wives. Hell, probably the dog they sleeping with. All of them is the border of wickedness. All of them. It's not just like that hatred is in all of them. It ain't just in the one in the 2-3-piece suit that look like Al Pacino. No, it's in the little white lady, Angelina Jolie. That's why what the other one is who dress her little black boys up like little girls. Theron, yeah. Charlize Theron. Yeah, they some bro, that's a evil, wicked people you dealing with. All
right. So now, put up the white book now. Got two more. Put up the white book. There's nothing really to read in this one. It's more so I want to show you guys, remember, because once again, the whole thought process is that Esau lives by the sword, and yes sir, and you can go to put on screen, and everything that he does, he acquires through violence. So now, this book is called 100 Years of Lynching. Okay, so after slavery, after our people are now freed and they're doing their own thing and whatever, building lives, you start reading about our people being lynched. And what this book does, it goes into the history of all of the lynchings that has happened. Now, I'm not going to go through the book because the book actually has a lot of, like, they would put articles in the newspaper about when it's time to kill somebody. So like how we may call somebody, hey, why don't you come to my house? We're going to barbecue, have a good time, blah, blah, whatever. They would put articles in the newspaper like that, inviting people to come to the lynchings because it was a public spectacle. So now I want you to go to the first page. Now what the book does is it has different articles, a lot of information, but at the end of the book, like the last couple of pages, it goes state by state by state. Is it on screen? Make it a little bit bigger. So right there you see where it says Georgia in the left. Scroll up just a little bit. Up. See where it says Georgia? So above Georgia is the state of Alabama. These are the names of the men and women that are documented as having been lynched. In this book, the state of Georgia has the most lynchings of every state in the United States of America. Go to the next page. There's nothing really to read. I'm just showing you, but these are all names. Go to the next page. Still in Georgia. Now, this is what's documented in the book. But as also Carmela I mentioned earlier, think about everybody who's not mentioned in this book. Everybody that was lynched and didn't get accounted for. These are more than likely the names of the men and women, and some of these are children whose names were put in different articles and were made spectacle of. Like I remember I told y'all a couple of weeks ago that on the port in Savannah, if some of y'all brothers that's truck drivers and ever been down to that port in Savannah, it's not the main entrance when you're on, I think it's like Coastal Parkway, whatever that street is, the main entrance to the port. On that street, if you go to the left, the next entrance, I forget what that, I don't know if it's the entrance name or number. It's usually where like the bobtails go. So if you ever go to that side, as soon as you turn right, look to your left because there's a field of trees over there and there's a bunch of little red flags just in the ground. I told y'all this one time before. And those red flags are all of the slaves that were buried when they came off the boats in the port that didn't make it. Some, and they weren't thrown in the water. They showed up here and maybe Esau didn't check on them in time, I don't know, and they died. They threw them all in one hole. There's also a documentary, and I don't know the name of it off the top of my head. It's on Amazon Prime. It's narrated by Samuel L. Jackson, if y'all have seen it. If you hadn't seen it, it's a very good documentary. There's a portion in it where it's talking about, I think they were in Brazil. They were talking about the amount of slaves that came from Africa to Brazil and how it was so many that was dead, they just dug like this big ass hole in the ground and just was throwing everybody in one hole. And then later on, they ended up like building a house on top of it. But I think they wanted to like put a basement or something, so they started finding bones. And as they were digging, they started finding hundreds and hundreds. No, it's not. It's not that. It's not that. It's not that. It's not that. Type in Samuel L. Jackson documentary slavery. See if they see. Yeah, if y'all want to watch it. That's not how you spell Samuel though. That's wrong. That man put SAMU. Unchained. Nah, that ain't it. That ain't nah. Enslavement. Oh, come back down. If anybody has Amazon Prime, I know it's on Amazon. Enslaved. That's what it is. Put that on screen. It's only 2 minutes. Play that. Let's see if we can play that real quick. Enslaved. Let me see if this is it. It is a really, really good documentary. I'm talking about they go into a lot of information. Yeah, this is it right here.
I've always been intrigued by the Atlantic slave trade. There are very few stories about what happened to the people on their way over and what happened to the people who
like
didn't
they will
survive.
find that. Pause real quick. In the documentary, they were going back and finding the ships. They were finding like the cannons and stuff that had got thrown overboard, like when they was fighting each other, and they was finding cannonball. They was finding all kind of stuff in the water. So for all them brothers and sisters talking about where the boats at, watch this documentary. They found them. Where to play?
We thought it was worth telling that story.
I'm talking about this is it goes into a lot of detail. Go ahead.
Estimation: 12 million Africans were trafficked. More than 2 million died en route, buried at sea somewhere.
See, that's one of the boats.
We're actually looking at the site of one of the greatest crimes in history.
That's the Brazil one.
This is currency created to buy a human being.
The ocean holds stories that haven't been told.
Finding something down there, it's gonna pop the lid off this story.
This is ground zero for the whole transatlantic slave trade.
I was the capital of it. My ancestry started in Gabon from the Benga tribe.
The story of the slave trade is world history. The world bears responsibility for it.
Like they was finding chains, all kind of stuff in the water. I was actually proud of Sam Jackson on this one.
That was unique to America. There was a worldwide phenomenon.
If you want to learn like some in-depth and in-detail history, like they was like one of the last things that the slaves would eat before they would come to this side of the world, they would feed them oysters. And it was so many oysters that they were showing that in the distance, it looked like it was land, but when you come up on it, it was just mounds and mounds and mounds and mounds of just oyster shells that had just been there for hundreds of years. It goes into a lot of detail. So definitely check that out if y'all want to get some of that information. But we're gonna go through this very last book. I want to go through this last book. Yeah, I don't even have time to go through that. I want to go through this last book, and then we'll go through a couple more scriptures. So I want to, and the way I tried to do it was to try to start with slavery and then just kind of progressively go through, because we start with transatlantic slave trade, Christopher Columbus. Then we go to the Spanish Inquisition. Yeah, Spanish Inquisition. Is that right? I said Spanish Inquisition, but I meant conquistadors. That's what I meant to say. Columbus, your conquistadors, your slavery, your lynchings, and then now today. So now put this book on the screen. I'm not going to go through. How many pages did I send in this book? 4? Okay, so we're going to go through all 4 of these pages. This book goes into a lot. And when I mean a lot, it is a big book. A lot of the medical malpractices that were done to our brothers and sisters, specifically. So if you're interested in that history and what Esau did, like How many of you know the name of the white man that is credited as being the father of modern gynecology? Who knows what his name is? Now, one sister. How y'all don't know this? Okay, we got one sister. All praises. Shout out to New Orleans. Don't nobody know? Okay, so put the book down real quick. Let's look at him first, real quick. Let's look at him. It's the article. It should have his picture up there. Yep, put that on the screen. Put it on the screen. Let's read about this guy right here. His name was James Marion Sims. James Marion Sims.
James Marion.
Let's read about what he did before we go into this book.
James Marion Sims was an American physician in the field of surgery. His most famous work was the development of a surgical technique for the repair of vesicovaginal fistula, a severe complication of obstructed childbirth. He is also remembered for inventing Sims speculum.
So basically, it's we can scroll down. It's the thing when y'all have the pap smear and they open it up. That's what he invented. But that's on the screen. So what he would do is basically he would take one end. He would use two. He put both of them in and then yank it apart. And then that's how he would. Yes, the thing for you to make a chest. Yeah, that's what he would do to the sisters. Scroll down a little bit. Scroll down. There's a part that I want to get to specifically. Keep going. Let me see. Is that it? Keep going. Let me see. That's it. That's what I want to go. Right there. Let's read this.
Repair of vesicovaginal fistulas. In 1845, Sims was brought a woman with
what did he repair, officer?
Vesicovaginal fistulas. What is it?
Vesicovaginal
Oh, it's a Soraya, man. We ain't got a bomb, man.
I ain't saying that. I just asked you what he said. I wasn't looking.
You knew what it said, though.
I wasn't looking. Go ahead and read.
Bruh.
Oh, come on. Go ahead and read.
Vesicovaginal.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. Scroll up. I see what I wanted to get to.
Thank you.
Scroll up to where scroll all the way to the top. Wait. So put that picture on the screen. Thank you. So that's how he would do it.
That's like a shoehorn. My granddad used to put his shoes on one of them.
He would put it in there and then make it stay open, but then put another one and then just kind of yank it. But come all the way back to the top. I found what I was looking for. No, scroll down just a little bit. Hold on. I'm looking for the sentence that says he was one of the most. Scroll down. Or okay, hold on. Right there. He was one of the. Yep, right there.
He was one of the most.
That's fire. So you can type in the words and okay, all right. There we go.
He was one of the most famous and venerated physicians in the country. In 1876, he was elected president of the American Medical Association. He was one of the first American physicians to become famous in Europe. He openly boasted that he was the second wealthiest doctor in the country. However, as medical ethicist Baron H. Lerner states, one would be hard-pressed to find a more controversial figure in the history of medicine. A statute in his honor, the first statute in the United States.
That wasn't, no. Let me see. He was, let me see. Hold on. Okay. Now keep reading. We're coming to it. Here we go.
A statue in his honor, the first statue in the United States in honor of a physician, was erected in 1894 in Bryant Park in New York City, but removed in 2018.
Let's read a little bit faster.
There are ethical questions raised by how he developed his surgical techniques.
That's the point I wanted to get to. There are ethical questions about how he came. He's credited as being the father of gynecology, but his methods of doing it came into question. Read.
He operated without anesthesia on enslaved black women who, like prisoners, could not meaningfully consent because they could not refuse.
Wait. So he operated. Damn. So a lot of the technological advances that they have in medicine now, they came because they operated on y'all without anesthesia. So how does Esau know how to transplant a heart? How does he know that you can actually cut the bone, what's the crane? There you go. Cut the cranium off and still like operate on the brain while the person is alive. Was it you that was telling me about a person that was having surgery and they was playing the guitar or something like that? That was you. Tell them about that.
Yeah, that's how they do brain surgery now. So they'll just cut the brain open and have you doing something. I mean, I guess it's a certain type of brain surgery, but
the point is how they know that though.
Yeah, they woke a nigga up and they was like, cut his head off. Let's see what it do.
And they playing with your brain while you wide awake. How you know how to do that? How you know how to transfer blood from one person to the next?
The cow says.
How do you know this stuff? How do they know about plasma? How do they know about these things? It comes from, and then it's not just, you don't just learn this stuff with one person. This is, and
repeated.
So we're going to learn in this book about, let's keep reading.
That's one thing about science. Science, you have to be able to repeat
it,
the process. You have to,
because it has to work for everybody.
You have to get the same results over and over, so in order for it to be considered a success.
Think about how many people they killed trying to figure out anesthesia.
That nigga never woke up.
Because when you look up the definition, well, not the definition, but you look that up. They were using carbon monoxide at one point.
That's like the fume that
your car puts up that kills people. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Give a little bit more.
That's what they were using as anesthesia. Go ahead and read this.
And immigrant Irish women. In the 20th century, this was condemned as an improper use of human experimental subjects, and Sims was described as a prime example of progress in the medical profession made at the expense of a vulnerable population.
You know why they said that? Because it said, and immigrant Irish women.
That's it, yep.
That's the only thing that made them say, hey, now you're going too far. You're going too far now, Mr. Sims. You can't experiment on good Irish women. Cut up the Negroes.
The hell is this?
That's what
this man, his impressions, yo. He sounds just like them folk for real.
You have to cut up the Negroes. You can't take them to school.
What?
You're going to medical school.
You gotta stop, bro.
All right.
Yo, you sound just like them people, bro. Go ahead and read.
He has been called a butcher and compared to Nazi physician Joseph Mengele.
Mengele. If you know who Joseph Mengele was, he was a Nazi doctor who was, he did a lot of evil, diabolical things. Go ahead and finish it.
Sims' practices were defended as consistent with the U.S. in the era in which he lived by.
So the United States of America defended his practices. They defended it. Read.
Physician and anthropologist L. Lewis Wall and other medical historians. According to Sims, the enslaved black women were willing and had no better option.
Wait, so they were willing to go through this torture and willing to go through this pain? Nah, I doubt it. Now let's go back to the book. Right, this is say the fact that he's known as the butcher, like. But let's examine it. Let's examine it. So y'all saw the book cover, right? Put the book cover on the screen one more time. Let's go into the book. Now I only sent 4 pages. This is a big book. Let's start right there.
At the same time, medical experts of every persuasion agreed the African Americans share the most deplorable health profile in the nation by far, one that resembles that of third world countries. When Dr. Harold Friedman observed that the health status of Harlem men resembles that of Bangladeshis more closely than that of their Manhattan neighbors. He did not exaggerate. Twice as many African American babies as babies of other ethnic groups die before their first birthday. 1.5 times as many African American adults as white adults die every year. Blacks have dramatically higher rates of nearly every cancer, of AIDS, of heart disease, of diabetes, of liver disease, of infectious diseases, and they even suffer from higher rates of accidental death, homicide, and mental illness.
Keep reading.
Before they die young in droves from imminently preventable diseases.
Meaning it can, all this stuff they listen, it can be prevented. Read.
African Americans also suffer far more devastating but equally preventable disease complications, such as blindness, confinement to wheelchairs, and limb loss. Studies continue to demonstrate that, far from sharing in the bounty of American medical technology, African Americans are often bereft of high technology care. even for life-threatening conditions such as heart disease.
All right, so now go to the next page. So now this is just saying that despair, our people suffer from a whole lot of things, right? Now let's find out why.
Historically, African Americans have been subjected to exploitative, abusive environment.
Meaning they're exploring. They have no idea what they're doing. Doctors practice medicine. They have a practice because that's what they're doing. So what they have learned to do, they practice on. They were exploring on us. Read.
Abusive involuntary experimentation at a rate far higher than other ethnic groups. Thus, although the heightened African Americans' wariness of medical research and institutions reflects a situational hypervigilance, it is neither a baseless fear of harm nor a fear of imaginary harms. A paranoid label is often affixed to blacks who are wary of participating in medical research. However, not only is paranoid a misnomer, but it is also misnomer, but is also symbolic of a dangerous misunderstanding. That is why I refer to African American fears of medical professionals and institutions as iotrophobia.
Basically, they're saying that us being afraid to go to the doctor, it's been classified as a phobia. No, y'all experimenting on us when we go to the doctor. That's why I never forget. I remember my granddaddy, he broke his toes and he broke his feet. And he refused to go to the doctor. He went and ate some popsicles and took the popsicle stick and put them popsicle stick on his toes, and them joints healed right back up. He walk a little crazy today. But it's because our people don't like going to the doctor. And we know why. Because you go to the hospital and your leg hurt, next thing you know, your leg is off.
Hey, hold on. Officer, I sent you something in Telegram since we on this.
Black iotrophobia is the fear of medicine.
I would be scared too.
I would be scared too.
You see what that says? Abusive involuntary experimentation.
They're exploring.
Bruh.
Just like he was.
I sent it to a Telegram. Officer Lisha.
How you think they know? Y'all ain't never wondered how Esau knows that the egg travels through here and then it gets fertilized like this, and this does this, and this. How do they know that?
Scroll down. Look at this. Read what the top of that say.
Melanin from skin. Let me start from top also.
Nah, you ain't gonna. That's a whole lot of numbers and right there. Start
how you
with
take the melanin out of skin. How you do it? Like,
read that from the melanin.
The melanin obtained by Abel and Davis from Negro skin was left in the form of pigment, granulus, pigment and pigment structure after the keratin
skin
had dissolved in the alkali.
All right, so now you have to think about this. You say, you get the black out of nigga's skin. Because it don't look like it should come out. It's just like if that's your skin, it should just be your skin. Scroll down the preparation right quick.
They figured it out.
Read that.
It was found that if the skin were soaked in boiling water, the outer layer, which contained practically all the pigment, could be readily removed by scraping.
So first you got to boil somebody. You got to boil somebody.
How many people did they boil before they figured it out?
This is what I want you to go look up. Look up the price of melanin.
Esau is the sword that has been sent here to punish our people because we break the commandments. You got a question? We can't hear you. We can't hear you. Y'all don't have a mic?
Look at that.
Put that on screen.
Melanin is not being sold on the stock market. Despite all that, today, melanin is worth over $445 a gram.
That's more than silver.
It's more than, it says at that rate is worth $395 a gram more than gold.
More than gold. Gold is expensive.
Your skin costs more than gold, and they know how to get it out.
Damn. Hey. Oh, so wait, maybe that's why all these babies getting missing.
They know how to get it out, and it's worth more than gold.
Right, and that's what I was going to say because I seen this document or whatever.
Put the mic to your mouth.
I was saying, I was about to say, they did this documentary or whatever, how like they do those tans. You know how like they go get a tan. They put that actually in a tan thing.
So where they getting it from?
Us, like you said, where all the people missing from and stuff like that. That's from us.
They getting it. But what the officer saying, they are using you. They're still doing this to you right now. Nicodemus, they coming to get you, boy. You better keep these commandments, boy. You got a lot of melanin. You got a lot of melanin. $40 million worth of melanin in it. Now, what's 40 million times 40? How many women? 40 million times 40,000. $1,600,000,000,000. Now it's 40-something thousand missing women alone, just women. If each one of them has $40 million worth of melanin in them, altogether, Esau just made $1,600,000,000,000.
And they not stopping at the skin. They taking your organs.
It's come out, but they can get it out your hair. They can get it out your skin, and then they can use the rest. That's just the melanin in your body. What's your question?
That just hit hard because when you read Joel 3, it says they sold my silver and gold to the white man. Now, I don't be talking about the real gold, but literally us worth gold.
Yeah, it says that he's
deep, boy.
more. Yeah,
that boy deep, boy. Let me get Nahum 3, chapter 2. When then, officer, you can have your class back. I'm sorry.
Nahum chapter 3, verse 2. The noise of a whip and the noise of the rattling of the wheels and of the prancing horses and of the jumping chariots. The horsemen lifted up both the bright sword and the glittering spear. And there is a multitude of slain.
Right.
And a great number of carcasses.
The Lord said, in this place, this bloody city, this oppressive city that's all full of lies and robbery, this is Esau headquarters, where we at right now. He said, this place is full of carcasses. It's full of bodies. It's full of our bodies used for experiments. It's full of our people being used as cancer crash test dummies. Hey, he's like, we got to test somebody to see if this stuff works. We ain't going to test it on our, Tuskegee experiment. Here, give them some syphilis and see what it do. See what happened. We got these people, how do we get this melanin out their skin? Boil her ass. Throw in some hot water and scrape her. We can get all that out. And then we going to strain the water. Man, how we going to get these babies out? Hey, let's use a chainsaw and cut her pelvis open. She like, what? That's what they did. But you read it. It says, and there are none end to their corpses. They stumble upon their, like, bro, they use us. They walk all over our dead bodies and kick us around like we nothing. But why? Back to the main idea. Because the Lord said, if you will not keep my commandments, then I'm going to do something 7 times worse than you. It's one thing to just have your food cut off. It's 7 times worse when a nigga boiling you, scraping your skin, and selling the brown juice for $445 for this much. It's worth this much. A gram, a little couple of drops is worth $40 million. And that right there that we was reading, that's from the National Institute of Health. That's they books. They wrote that. They said, oh yeah, the National Library. They were like, oh yeah, we got it. They put it right there in your face. Because guess what? You don't care. You going to forget. And guess what's going to happen when you forget? You're going to go right back to breaking the commandments. And more of your brothers and sisters, more of our brothers and sisters are going to go through this apartheid. are gonna go through this slavery, are gonna go through probably somebody right now in somebody's backyard in Carolina somewhere right now, living in a shed. I knew the black dude used to live. I used to work for a dentist one time, and he had a little nigga live in the backyard in a little lawnmower shed. The man get up there every day, cut the grass, take out the trash, do everything. He go live right back there in the back in that little shed every day. That nigga told on me and got me fired.
Put that on the screen. Put that on the screen. Let's go through this real quick. Because of what I was coming, I just said I wasn't even gonna send this page, but put that on screen. Let's read through this real quick. Go start at the part that says, however. It's the what 1, 2, 3,
Yes, sir.
fourth sentence down. Can you make it a little bit bigger so they can see it?
Yes,
Just
sir.
start right there. However,
in other human and medical experiments, the recruitment of blacks and the poor is a tactic feature of the study because they recruit subjects from heavily black inner city areas that tend to surround American teaching hospitals. American university research centers have historically been located in inner city areas.
Emory.
And accordingly, a disproportionate number of these abuses have involved experiments with African Americans.
Experiments. And so you know what it also goes into? How our community always got them little clinics. We always got little clinics and stuff in our neighborhoods.
Plasma centers.
It's plasma, the dialysis machine. I mean, the dialysis department. All them joints. Keep reading.
These subjects were given experimental vaccines.
Wait a minute. They was given what?
Experimental vaccines.
Keep reading.
Known to have unacceptably high lethality, were enrolled in experiments without their consent or knowledge, were subjected to surreptitious surgical and medical procedures while unconscious, injected with toxic substances, deliberately monitored.
Against their will, while they're unconscious, they're being injected with toxic substances.
You remember they were saying that they were sterilizing all those Northern Kingdom women. They go in there for one thing, knock them out, go ahead, cut this whole. You don't need this little uterus no more.
You don't need 2 kidneys. You don't. Just drop that page. Let's wrap it up because it's getting a little late. Let's just run through it real quick. I think I gave you maybe 1 or 2 more pages. Want to go through it real quick. There's one point in particular I want to make it to. Now we read that already. I want to read that part. Yes. Well, come out a little bit because I think it was. I want to read up a little bit. Let me see. Keep coming. Okay. Start at the part that says ossified human remains.
Ossified human remains.
So now this was. Just read.
Ossified human remains spilled from broken vats that had once held cadavers preserved in alcohol. Jars held fetal organs in vanishing lakes of whiskey, an indication that scientists had displayed the purloined bodies using the alcohol as a preservative, in addition to dissecting them.
So what they were doing, they were taking a lot of people. They were robbing graves of recently deceased people, and when it was found out, they found jars of just human remains and bones and just all kind of stuff. Just go ahead and read.
Because not only grave robbing, but also anatomical dissection were illegal in Georgia until.
So this was in Georgia. Oh, okay. Remember, that's why I showed y'all this book. You had more people die in Georgia than any other state. Go ahead and read.
Until 1887. There was no legal source of such bodies. They were stolen and in a manner that outraged decency and violated the law.
Read.
This articulated nightmare was all that remained of faceless people whose bodies had been dissected.
Faceless people? Why would you take somebody's face off? Like, what medical science are you going to learn from taking somebody's face off? Go ahead and read.
Then unceremoniously.
Maxillofacial construction. That's what you're going to learn. That's how you're going to learn what cheekbone do, what the bones in the eye do, where the socket and the sinus drain at, what tissues hold and make your jaw move and your face.
I just learned that the eyeball, it goes all the way to the back of the brain. I didn't know that. How many eyes did they have to go through to figure out that that's what it does?
Like, damn, it go all the way back. My bad.
Go ahead.
Then unceremoniously scattered in the basement amid a jumble of broken syringes, microscope slides, scalpels, old pill bottles, and other medical detritus As years passed, medical personnel covered each stratum of human refuse with refuse.
The trash that's in the body, this stuff that's comes in out, read.
With quick lime to quell the stench.
So they would throw lime on it just because dead bodies stink. Read.
And later the basement was cemented over. Scientists determined that most of the remains dated from the 19th century, and detailed analysis of the bones and surrounding materials revealed that 75% of the bones in the basement were those of African Americans, although blacks constituted only 42% of the area's population.
So where the hell were they getting these black folks from? If it was only 42% in the area, but 75% of the bones was all people, and just for time's sake, it's like I say, if y'all want to go more to this book, because I think I had another page, but it's getting late, and I don't want to keep y'all here too much longer. But one scripture real quick, Jeremiah 49. Just once again, just going to show just how diabolical Esau is, and everything that he has acquired through violence. But in us keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, Lord's will, we'll have an opportunity to get our revenge. All I want is my 2 gorillas. If I can get listen. Jeremiah chapter 49, we read verse 10 already, right? Jump down to, let me see, let me get it real quick. 49 and 15.
Jeremiah chapter 49, verse 15. For, lo, I will make thee small among the heathen, and despised among men.
So the day will come where Esau is going to be the most despised on this earth. It says he's going to be made small. Read.
Thy terribleness have deceived thee, and the pride of thine heart, O thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, that holdest the height of the hill. Though thou shouldest make thy nest as high as the eagle, I will bring thee down from thence, saith the Lord.
Jump down to verse 20.
Verse 20. Therefore hear the counsel of the Lord, that he have taken against Edom.
So here's the counsel of God has gone to take against Edom. Jump down to verse 21.
Verse 21. The earth is moved at the noise of their fall. At the cry, the noise thereof was heard in the Red Sea.
Esau's fall is going to shake the earth. Imagine the world just finally just being able to breathe and just relax, because everything he does, he just pollutes everything. Like the video Bishop showed, he's just a virus that just pollutes every single thing. And this has just been like an hour and a half, 2 hour class, and we hadn't even really gone into the depths. Like some of these books go into a lot. This one here, a lot of what they know about us and y'all, especially the women. You read some of the crazy things that they did, just trying to figure certain things out. We read how they were just exploring, just figuring stuff out, just by dissecting y'all. Keep reading.
Verse 22. Behold, he shall come up and fly as the eagle, and spread his wings over Basra. And at that day shall the heart of the mighty men of Edom be as the heart of a woman in her pains.
So the same way how you have this is when a woman's going through her birth pains, and the sheer fear and the pain, that's what God is going to do. He's going to turn it all back on Esau. So for everything that they've done, I mean, and it's so much that they've done. Like here in 2023, like we're just learning of some of the things that they've been doing just from hundreds of years ago. But Most High is going to bring it all to the light, all to the light. You got something you want to say, officer, before we wrap it up?
One more last script and I'm out.
All right.
Let me get Leviticus chapter 26 and verse 40. We're going to read 40, 41, and then we're going to jump.
Leviticus chapter 26, verse 40. If they shall confess their iniquity and the iniquity of their fathers with their trespass, which they trespassed against me, and that also they have walked contrary unto me.
So if y'all like paying attention, like the officer said, he was just showing y'all that Esau gonna get what he get. He gonna get what's coming to him. But the Lord say, in before all of that happens, you got to do this. You got to set your mind right. You got to confess your iniquities and the iniquities of your forefathers, the ones that went through that. Because guess what? Something was happening, and it was in the midst of it when the Lord had to be like, I still got it. If I owe you, I owe you. If I owe you, I owe you. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You want your $20 if I borrowed it from you, won't you? Same way. I told y'all gonna do something to you. You ain't listen. Read on.
And that I also have walked contrary unto them.
So he said, we walk against him. He walked contrary against us. Read.
And have brought them into the land of their enemies. If then their uncircumcised hearts be humbled, and they then accept of the punishment of their iniquity.
This is where all of this stuff that we just went over today, we got to look at that thing and be like, it was my fault. Remember what I was just saying? We got to take accountability. We have to accept this punishment. You right, Jesus. I did all of that. My forefathers, foremothers, we did all of that. You right. It is what it is. I'm sorry. Read on.
Then will I remember my covenant with Jacob.
Right. We can't get to abuse. We can't get to Esau getting what he get until we go through this part. We have to accept that all of this is happening because of us. And it's going to keep happening because of us. But the only thing we can do right now is return. We can return back to the Lord with all our heart and with all our mind. Read.
And also my covenant with Isaac. And also my covenant with Abraham will I remember.
Jump to 45.
Verse 45. But I will for their sakes remember the covenant of their ancestors, whom I brought forth out of the land of Egypt in the sight of the heathen, that I might be their God. I am the Lord.
And that's what we're looking forward to. Yeah, we going through all of this. But once we start repenting, once we accept the punishment for what we did, once we turn our hearts and we begin to, all right. So the Lord say, if you read 44, he said, I ain't going to cast you off. I ain't going to kill you. I ain't going to utterly destroy you. Oh, you going to go through it. Some niggas going to boil you. They going to boil you. They going to kidnap you. They going to play with your heart while you're alive and tickle your brain, and they going to sheathe their sword in you, and they going to hang you, and they going to bust your baby head on a rock. But I ain't going to completely destroy you. It's going to hurt. You know how your mama said it hurt me more than it gonna hurt you? I don't know if God said that. He was like, nah, this gonna hurt. They're gonna hurt you. Because you didn't listen. But he said, utterly will I remember them when we begin to repent. All right, so let that be at the forefront. Esau the devil, but you gotta repent. I'm done.
All praise to the Most High. So before we shut it down, does anybody have any questions about anything we've gone over tonight? Is it a question? Is it a deep question? What you got?
So when you read back in Genesis 25, is the birthright and the blessing of Esau like the same thing, or how is it different?
I don't think I understand your question.
You know how Esau was like, Jacob supplanted me twice. He got my birthright and now he got my blessing. What's the difference between the two?
I mean, the birthright is just what you were going to inherit, what you were supposed to inherit.
So what was the difference between the blessing that Esau was going to receive and the birthright? Is that not the same thing, or like is there a difference?
No, it's just, so the birthright is what was rightfully his by birth as being the firstborn son. The blessing, quote unquote, that he received, don't look at it as it's just because Jacob ended up acquiring it because Esau got rid of it. So what would have been Esau's now became Jacob's. What Esau got was just an additional blessing. It wasn't nothing. It was. It's not the same. If that's what you're asking, it's not the same. The birthright is what's specifically yours by right of birth.
Where it's said in the commandments, like the firstborn get like double. Remember, and
Right.
in the law, the firstborn gets double.
Like numbers,
right? So there's that to say that the second don't get nothing? No, but the first one gets the double portion from the father. That's what the first one get. Now his portion was he gets to rule over, like, and when you look at it, yes, we get to rule over Esau, but after the time, and we are chosen of God. But to Esau, that thing was a blessing. To an evil ass nigga, that's a blessing. This man get to live in the best places. You only know of the island of Fiji because Esau went there, beat them niggas up, and put it on travel guide. You only know Hawaii is pretty because Esau went over there, beat a nigga up, gave him some spam, and took a picture and was like, come to Hawaii. You only know about Mount whatever, Rushmore, or all these little nature trails because Esau whooped the nigga and took it. And then took pictures and selfies and stood on top of cow bones and showed how mighty he was. To him, that's a blessing. He was blessed with the fatness of the earth. That's to that kind of nigga, that's a blessing. You get to live everywhere. If somebody came and told you that, bro, you're going to get to live everywhere you want to live. You're going to be able to do anything you want to do. You're just going to do it by violence. When you look and you find out you're on top of the hill, you might be like, I'm a violent ass nigga, but look nice down there. Look at everything I got. Look at my cities and look at my stadiums. Look at my cars that made out of electricity. Look at my trains. Look at my airplanes. Look at it. So nice. I own all this. To Esau, that's actually a blessing.
Tavera says, not particularly about what we've gone over, but will the recordings of this class and others during the previous classes be posted soon? They should already be posted, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if they're going to be edited or not, but from what I understand, there has been a YouTube page created for Atlanta for these classes. I don't have access to it. Y'all looking at me? I don't have access. It's on YouTube somewhere. I'll find out. It's probably not okay. Oh, okay. Well, okay. Well, each one of the classes are being recorded, and they will be posted. Talk to Officer Lisha. Ask him all your questions. Talk to Officer Lisha. He is the person to ask. If all hearts and minds are clear, you got questions? What you got? She need the mic. So the page is not officially up just yet, but there are being recorded, and there has been a YouTube page created. They just haven't been shared just yet. What you got?
Shalom.
Shalom.
Can you repeat that first book that you went into? Something about Indians?
Black Indians. Black Indians.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. All right. If all hearts and minds are clear, let the church say amen. All right. Shalom, everybody. Most High Christ bless. Lord's will, we will do this again next Tuesday.
Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is